Now, as far as what I think the real issue is with the Mavs, I want to get into. What Jason Kidd said at the press conference. It was kind of disturbing what he said. I get into those problems, and I get into probably what they need to do to fix it. And I get into all those things. But before I get started, this episode is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the best place to play fantasy sports. I want to tell you about the easiest way to get in on some NBA action with Underdog Fantasy and their pick'em game. Just find your favorite player, or any player for that matter, pick higher or lower on that player's stats, and you can win up to 20 times your money in one night. Pick between 2 or 5 players to fill your pick'em entry. Get every pick right, and you can net yourself some serious cash. Use the promo code ManDownSports, and you can get your deposit doubled up to $100. You got to check on the map to make sure your state is eligible to play Underdog Fantasy. But as soon as you do, and if your state is, go ahead and download Underdog Fantasy's app. Use the promo code ManDownSports, and you can, like I said, you can get that $100 match on your first deposit. And I would want to thank Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring Man Down Sports. Jason Kidd was on the press on the post game podium, and they specifically asked about defense and all those stuff. Listen to what he said.
You mentioned Gordon Free. Obviously, points in the paint have been a huge problem for you guys for the defensive end this year as well. How connected are those two issues?
We're going to give up something. Just like, our opponent's going to give us something. And so we can't give up both points in the paint and both in threes. And that's what we're doing right now. Even in the wins, our defense isn't very good. And so our offense is our defense. I said that earlier. Until we can understand and be connected on the defensive end, then we'll be able to make strides. But right now, our best defense is our offense. And we're not scoring 130. It's hard to win.
That is not good. That is not good to hear from your leader, your coach. That is not good. But I think his hands is tied behind his back because he knew what this team needed. And he was on that Lakers team as an assistant that went to the finals in the bubble and won. And the way that team was constructed, they had 6'11" AD, they had 6'11" Dwight Howard, they had 7 foot JaVale McGee. Those are the trees that they was putting out there. When they played Denver, AD didn't even have to try to handle Jokic. Dwight did. JaVale McGee played integral part in rim protecting and shot blocking. He didn't need to come out there and score a lot of points, but we need you to be out here and be a stopper and a rim protector, right? Not only did they have those 3 big trees, they had other defenders. They had Avery Bradley, even though he didn't make it to the bubble, but he definitely helped them out with their identity and with their toughness, and he was there for most of the season before it shut down. Rondo, he's a defensive genius as far as scheming, and the effort is there as well. They said Rondo took over a lot of the meetings in the bubble as far as coaching and film study and help come up with schemes. I didn't even say help come up with schemes. They said he came up with schemes. LeBron James the same way. Rondo has been on JJ Redick podcast and said it's just not me. I know I get a reputation for doing it. He was like, but LeBron is the same exact way when it comes to defense and defensive schemes, right? That's your leader. So your leader from your and Frank Vogel is a defensive minded coach. That's what he's known for. So you got Frank Vogel as your leader. You got LeBron as your leader. You got Rondo as your leader, and definitely AD is known for his defense and shot blocking. All of your leaders are known for that. And engage in that and know that that's what comes first. And then you had people like role players like JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard who filled in the gaps, and Avery Bradley and Caruso. They had Caruso as well. A lot of defenders on that team, right? So I say all that to say this. Jason Kidd knows better. And that's why when he showed up to Dallas, he was like, we need a rim protector and a shot blocker. He begged JaVale McGee to come over to Dallas, and he promised him a starting role. This is according to some of the Dallas Mavericks podcasts that have local journalists on that podcast that can attest to this. He promised JaVale McGee a starting role. JaVale McGee showed up, and then JaVale McGee could not get in the game. Why couldn't JaVale McGee get in the game is because the style that the Mavs want to play on offense with Luka at point guard and utilizing the high screening role and having shooters standing around at the three-point line does not call for JaVale McGee to get minutes. One, because JaVale McGee, even though he's agile, a good slasher, a good jumper, and a good dunker and all that stuff, he's not a screening role type player where he's going to roll, catch these lobs. No, he's a little different than that. But what he does is play great defense and block shots at the rim. So you need something like that. So even if you're not going to start him, cool. Why he couldn't come off the bench and get minutes? So JaVale McGee barely got minutes, right? So 1 year go by, and then they bring in Christian Woods the next year. All right, well, Christian Woods might be a better style player for them. He can do some of the same things. He's long at the rim. He can shot block. He can rim protect. He can move his feet and guard the perimeter a little bit if he has to switch. And then he's got offense and he can shoot the three. You would think he would get minutes. No. His minutes was one game he'll get 30 minutes. Next game he'll be a healthy scratch. The next game he'll get 5 or 10 minutes. It was just sporadic and he didn't like it. And he left. Porzingis, same thing. Okay, well, Porzingis is even more offense than Christian Woods. You would think that he would fit with that. No. So if you look at those three guys now, Porzingis in Boston, everything's clicking with him offensively. Now, mind you, think about this. The number one option is Tatum. The number two option is Brown. That's obvious. Porzingis is getting more shots up, getting better minutes and better opportunities as a number 3 option in Boston than he was as a number 2 co-star in Dallas. And it was immediately the chemistry issues, like, oh man, let them gel. They gotta, all the stuff that they were saying, about Dallas and Kyrie showing up now. They give them time. They got to gel. They need this. They need that. Don't seem like Porzingis needed that. They just plug and play. Right. And then on top of that, he's a 7'3" guy who can go up there and get that get a shot at the rim defensively. He's over there shot blocking as well and protecting the rim. So they loving what they got in Porzingis. So he's playing significant minutes in Boston, and he's a factor on both ends of the floor. They love him in Boston. You look at Woods, same thing. Even though they got a different type of rotation in LA where they're rotating Hachimura, Woods, Anthony Davis, Prince, and then when Vanderbilt comes back, it'll be rotation. So it's a different rotation, but Woods is even more happy with his role in LA, knowing that, he's rotating with these guys. It might be Rui one game, it might be Woods the next game. But what he's doing is locking in on defense. If you go back to that Phoenix game when they played against Kevin Durant, Kevin Durant was torching them in the first half. What did they do in the second half? Darvin Ham decided, I'm going to put Woods on Kevin Durant, a bigger guy, because everybody we put on him that was smaller, he torched them. They put a bigger guy on him, and AD and Woods took turns on KD, and it did the trick. So here's another guy who's very capable of playing defense, who's long, who can block shots, and he's also not gonna you're not gonna miss anything offensively, because if that was the case with JaVale McGee, like, we put him out there, he can block shots, but he don't give us nothing offensively. Well, Woods gave you that. He gave you offense and defense. Why was he unplayable? Why did he have to get traded or let go? Why you couldn't sign him? Right? All those things you got to start paying attention to. Because JaVale McGee, Woods, as a matter of fact, JaVale McGee got in the game and he barely played 12 minutes. 12, he played less than 15 minutes. But he's not a scoring option, but he was getting lobs and dunks at the rim. He got you 9 points. He got you a block. He got you a steal. got you 7 rebounds. You know, if he played 20 to 25 minutes, he's a double-double guy easily with multiple blocks a game. But he's the backup. He's backing up Sabonis. And, you know, so he could have been doing it in Dallas. They didn't want it. They preferred to play Bertans, Maxi Kleber, and Powell over Woods, McGee, and Porzingis. Ain't that sad? And the reason why they preferred to play those guys is because they're only thinking about the players that they play. How do they fit with the scheme of Luka ball that we're trying to run? And then as an afterthought, they're saying, now let's try to play some defense. Instead of saying, I'm going to play guys who's going to play defense because we need to stop people first. And then I'm going to implement an offense where we can get points. Put the players out there that can stop someone. And then play an offense where the ball is constantly moving and players is constantly moving so y'all can be dangerous. Be dangerous as a team and not just have Luka be dangerous while everybody compliments him. Like that's not a winning formula. Like, hey, Luka, you go ham, you go nuts, and do whatever the hell you want to do. Everyone else, y'all have to figure out a way to compliment Luka. There's a game that we want Luka to play, that Luka wants to play, and everyone else is just a squirrel in his world trying to get a nut. You know, you stand at the 3-point line, let Luka do his thing, and bail him out if he needs help. We think he's so good that he can just come play 1-on-5, and when he needs help, you need to bail him out. That's what they want to do on offense. And then, and by the way, y'all got to stop somebody. Instead of getting players that you know can stop people. You want a shot blocker? You had JaVale McGee. Didn't play him. You played Powell over him. Had Porzingis. He was frustrated. Didn't want to include him in the offense. Didn't want to post up with him. Didn't want to let him take his man and utilize his skills. And what happens is on offense, it's, you know, if I'm not able to do anything on offense, my defense might suffer. Same thing with Woods, Christian Woods. I'm like, you won't even play these guys that can help you on defense because you have to find guys that fits that offense. And guys that fit that offense aren't the same guys that can D up. You know, if like, you know, and I was explaining earlier, if you want to play 5-man out basketball on offense and an offense where Luka is setting everyone up, you have to have the type of team that needs that. If you go look at the U.S. Olympic team, if you go look at the All-Star team, if you go look at a super team in the NBA, they're not playing that because the players don't need it. Like if you was to take Kevin Durant off the Phoenix Suns and put Luka there, and you got Booker and Bill, why would they let Luka run point and set everyone up when Booker don't need it and Bill don't need it? Like, they're too good to need that. So to do that, you almost to do that, you almost need players who need that. So when you building your roster, you instead of you going to go grab an unbelievable player, you know, as soon as you grab the unbelievable player, your offense has got to change. You can't run Luka ball anymore. Right? Now they might go get one unbelievable player like they did with Kyrie. You know, okay, we got Kyrie, but only thing they're doing is saying, okay, we're going to play Luka ball with Luka, and then we're going to switch and play Luka ball with Kyrie. So everyone is still standing around at the 3-point line, waiting on one guy to make a play, but we're just swapping out which guy is doing it. It's either going to be Luka's turn or it's going to be Kyrie's turn, right? Everyone else. So you got 2 guys that's making a play, and you got a 12-man roster, right? Probably a 10-man rotation. So the other 8 guys that's getting in the game, all 8 of them are at the disposal of Luka and Kyrie, and those are the only 2 guys who can get an assist. all of your shots is going to come from either their assist or their pass. Very minimal opportunity for you to make your own play or make a play for one of those guys. Make a play for Luka or Kyrie. No, they're going to make plays for everyone. And you can't make a play for them on schedule. It might happen in the flow of the game, but we're not going to design it for you to make a play. We're designing it for these two guys. They're the only ones who's going to make a play. So when you look at the stat sheet, you're going to see Luka with 9 assists. You're going to see Kyrie with 7. Everyone else is going to have 1 or 2. No one else is designed to get an assist. Everyone is designed to get like if you're lively, you get a lob, alley-oop, or you get something cut into the rim off the screen and roll for a dunk. You're never going to see Lively post up and do any type of post move or anything like that. You're never going to see him get a mismatch and then take his man one-on-one or none of that. If they set a screen and they switch and the big switches on Luka and the small is on Lively, Lively's job is to get out of the way and let Luka take the big one-on-one. Where in common sense style of basketball, when you got a mouse in the house, that's the easiest shot. If I got a 7-footer down low and I switched a 6'1" point guard on them, you automatically go in that post, mouse in the house. The worst thing that should happen is a defensive foul and you go to the free throw line. At best, you get the and one. But the answer of getting a switch and having a mismatch on the perimeter or a mismatch in the paint is not for the guy that got the mismatch in the paint to clear out and let the guy go one-on-one. Nonsense. Sometimes it might call for that if it's like someone who can't move their feet at all. You got I don't know, Greg, you got George Mirasan out there on Kyrie Irving. Oh yeah. He can easily get to the rim. But at no point do I want you to do a step back three. So what I'm trying to say is that every issue that the Mavs have starts with the roster that they build to play the offense that they want to run. So to change everything, if you want to play defensive-minded players and players with defensive ability, it starts with fixing your lineup and fixing who your point guard is. You want Luka to be your point guard so bad, and you want to run this this high screen and roll offense so bad that you're willing to suffer everywhere else. And it's not that good of an offense for you to say, man, I have a top 3 offense and sacrifice having a bottom 3 defense. I mean, there's no way I would trade that off, right? There's no way I would say that's a good trade-off. A top 3 offense for a bottom 3 defense. That's not a good trade-off. I mean, you look at Jason Tatum and the Celtics with Porzingis. They have a top 3 offense and a top 3 defense. That's a real team, right? And guess what? Jason Tatum is not the point guard. Jason Tatum is not running a high screen and roll offense where either he gets the shot or he gets the assist. He's not doing that. All right. As a matter of fact, the second best player scoring option on that team was Jaylen Brown. He's not doing it either. Neither one of them are the point guard. So they're trusting a real point guard in Drew Holiday to run their whole offense, even before Drew Holiday got there. Because I know some people will be like, well, we don't have a Drew Holiday. That's why Luka's got to do it. Well, they had Marcus Smart in Boston last year. They did it. They trusted him to run it last year. Marcus Smart and Derek White. And they had Kyrie years before that, and they trusted him to run a point. Like, smart coaches and smart teams are not buying into give my best player the ball and spread everybody out and just let him go to work. They're not buying into that. And those are the teams who are averaging the 30-plus assists a game and who also has a good defensive rating, because now you can put lineups on the floor that make sense. Because when you're doing high screen and roll, you can't have a post player. You got Al Horford in the paint posting up whenever the opportunity presents itself, but he can also step out and shoot the 3. Same with Porzingis. And they're starting both of those guys. 7 foot and 6'11", they're starting. They won't do that in Dallas. They need the paint clear. They're locked into playing that style of offense so bad that they just can't see themselves changing it. And that's a problem, right? If you was to put Luka on Boston's team, how would that look? Because he won't be playing Luka ball there, right? So I can't keep hearing Dallas Mavs fans or Luka's fans talk about the roster and the roster and the roster. No, the roster is designed exactly how they want to run their offense. Those are the perfect players for the offense you want to run. And the problems that you're having are always going to be there, no matter who you change out. If you don't change that offense, it don't matter who you plug in there. They're either not going to use them like Woods and McGee, or they're going to be on the floor and they're still not going to use them like Porzingis. It doesn't matter who you put out there. The offense is the problem. Your best player being your point guard is the problem. Your player that's taking the most shots being your point guard is the problem. Your primary scorer, who's also the primary distributor and sole distributor, is the problem. If you change that, put Luka in his natural position, then everything will fall into place. Because now, if you got Luka at his natural position, which is small forward, then you can let a real point guard run the show and run the offense. Luka can still get his 30 shots. Y'all can install an offense that predicates more ball movement, more player movement, more screens, more cutting, and post-ups. So now you can put a post player out there. So now you don't have to start Josh Powell. Well, you starting Lively now, but now you don't have to come off the bench with Josh Powell. Josh Powell gives you really nothing except a agile big, and the defense they want to they want to. I don't know why Josh Powell gets so much tick, but you have Lively. He's blocking shots. He's big at the rim. Now you can go get somebody in free agency that actually can fit and actually can help your team defensively and rebounding and give you some scoring punch. But you can't do that if you only want someone to be at the 3-point line and screen and roll for Luka all day long. When is Luka go set a screen for a teammate? Is that part of the offense? Like, this has been a complete player. Like, when you get in the game and you're playing a complete game, you need to be moving without the ball. You need to be setting screens. You need to be cutting. You need to be filling the lanes up on the fast break. If you're not the one running the fast break in the middle with the ball, you need to post up every now and then. You need to catch and shoot. You need to spread the floor. Sometimes you need to stand in the corner. It ain't all about just getting Luke on the floor and high screen and roll. He always got the ball. When is he go set a screen for someone? I see Stockton all the time setting backdoor picks on bigger players to try to get his teammates open. Yeah, go watch some Stockton highlights and when he didn't have the ball, what he did. He was always active, always doing something. Go watch the type of screens he would set. He would set a screen on Shaq if he needed to. And even when Luka tried to set a screen, it's not even a real screen. He'd only give a piece of the body. It's a bad look, right? So yeah, for your coach to say our offense is our defense, that's sad. That's real sad. But Mavs fans told me I was wrong at the beginning of the season when I said this offense needs to change. And they saw that number 2 rated offense, and that's all, that's great. No matter they was playing non-playoff teams at the beginning, and it was just a hot streak and 4-game win streak. They had one of these last year. They had a 4-game win streak last year. Identical records almost. 9-5 this year. That was 8-6 last year. Almost identical records after 14 games. Right. So now they're at that spot where they're probably going to be going win, loss, win, loss, win, win, loss, lose, lose, win. And then they're probably going to have a 4 or 5 game lose streak at some point. And at that point, they go realize we need to make a change. But guess what? That change is not going to be the offense. That change is not going to be Luka playing his proper position. That change will be a trade or a new coach. So that's what's coming down the pike for Dallas. If they don't fix this, their defense is not going to get fixed. They're going to blame Jason Kidd for it. They're going to bring in another coach, and they're going to play that same style of offense and never changing, and the same issues are going to be there. And you just watch. And I want y'all to come on in the comment section and give me your best, because at this point, the Mavs are making me look like a genius.